All right, this is going to be how to remove a sunroof headliner. Busy parting this car out, I thought I would take the chance to make this video as far as like the removal of the sunroof. There's already a lot of steps that I've gone through already that you won't have to. Now, normally you would have to remove A pillar, B pillar, and C pillar moldings. Okay, there is in your headline or your remove your visors and the holders. There is one screw right up in here, and then there's 3 clips across the back. I'm going to use one of these tools to get those removed. Also, there is 3 or 4 poop handles here. Okay, go like this. There is T20 Torx down inside these. They have these caps on top. They're down in here like this. I just put a little screwdriver, flathead, and then you can pop them out. Just use care. Most of the time I've never damaged them. And then you want to remove all of them. All right, so you can do this if you have your front seats in, and you can just like recline, and then you can reach everything. All right, these you'll have to remove your upper seat belt, and then you can just let these hang. Get all these doors open. All right, now the reason why I'm opening the doors when they want to stay open is this seal goes up over here. Okay, so it holds it up in place, along with this one here actually pinches over metal and holds this in place also, right to there. This will retain with the sunroof assembly. So I'm gonna try to save this one here. So I've probably in 20 or 30 of these cars, I've only had one or 2 of these where they didn't snap off. So I don't worry about trying to save them anymore, because they all just snap just like that. Okay, let's get this open again. Okay, got our seal out of the way. This seal out of the way, you can see starting to flop down. All right, let's pull this. Drop down pretty good. And then here. All right. You will have to unplug this. And I have the headliner hanging on here. Okay, now if you didn't see them, these go here and they actually sit behind this headliner. Sorry, they actually fit behind this headliner. They all fall down. Some of them will stick. I don't know the justification between that. You could probably to ease of installation, you could probably pull the handle and then stick the bolt back through here. It'll hold these in place right there. A little trick. It is a little more time consuming, but it's no different than you having to feed these up in, and then you use this to hold it in place once these are in, and then you got to stick your hands up in. But if you stuck the bolts back in, it would hold them in place. That way when you stick this back in, they'll be there. Then you stick your seals back on, and then you just pull the bolts, and then you can put the handles right back in. But I did forget to mention, there's 2 plugs. All right, there's one. Well, no, there's actually only 1 plug, but I unplug both when I'm doing the sunroof assembly, because that powers your sunroof assembly and your mirror lights. Your dome light is powered back here off of this harness. It's usually plugged in right here. It's actually in here somewhere. It's a red plug, but it's usually like right about in here underneath this panel. Another thing to be careful when you're in here and you're unplugging this, and when you're removing these tabs like to come off these windows. Like, you could look at them wrong and they'll fall off. So you almost got to be very careful when you're removing these back panels, or you won't have any root of frost. So since this is junk, I'm just putting my seals back up in. I won't need those. I'm gonna move this headliner out of the way, and we're gonna start on our sunroof. All right, you don't need to remove these. Normally you can just, these are on here pretty tight, so you'll have to put something in there and get this thing to twist, and then you can pull them off if you're just swapping out the assembly. These have push clips, or I don't know what you want to call them, like a little push thing that's taped to it. So I'm actually saving these. Up here is where your lines run in for the drain on both sides in the front. It's just easier for me to do it like that. Now your rears will run out here, so you'll undo your hose here if you're just changing out your assembly, but the hose runs down through. You can see it back there, runs right down through. It's the same on both sides. The drains in the back. Like I said, I'm removing this like this, just to keep them with. I think I have a couple that I saved all the hoses before, once or twice, but I'm gonna get them out, and then we're gonna move on to getting the actual assembly out, and a couple other things with that. I got all these out. Now this is the way I'm pulling it, so there's a couple different wires here. So if you're just pulling this, you can undo this one here and pop it off of the assembly, and you'll be good to go. Now if you look up here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 mils. We're just going to, what I like to do is I get the ones back here, I leave these ones in the middle, and then what I do is I'll let this back, and I use my head to support this, and then I'll use the gun to do the last one while I'm using my hand on the other side, and then I'll let it down as one assembly and set it off to the side, and then I move them out of the car. It is helpful if you have 2 people, especially if you have everything else still in the car, so you don't, you know, scratch panels, tear seats, etc., etc. So easy as this. All right, I'm going to remove the rest of them that I need. I'll set the camera up when we get to that point and show you when I get the last one out as we're dropping it down. Doing the last one on the left side. And do the right side. These things are very heavy, especially when you're bringing them down off the top. All right, we got one wire that we missed here. It runs to the mirror, which you can't get to this when the assembly's in. Like I said, I'm just retaining this in case it ever needs to be used. All right, there you go. That is the sunroof assembly removal. Let's take a look. You can see up around here. You see where the clips go. I've actually had a couple that had rust in this area over here from the leak. This glass through here is usually pretty rough. This one actually looks pretty good. It's pretty weird that it does. I've never tried it, so this might be a good working sunroof. I'd still reseal this glass, double check all the slides, clean everything out, throw a little lube on it, double check the roll pins, etc., before I would reinstall this in a car. But that is removal, man. There it is. I'm gonna get it out. I'll set it on the floor. I'll show you what it looks like there. All right, it's out. That's what it looks like. There's all our hoses. There's where the cables run to pull it from the top view. And then, I mean, obviously there's our bottom view. There's our motor. There's our control unit, our switch, and everything's all right in here. What holds this in place is it's got these little spring clips right here. If you want to take this out, you can slide it backwards by pushing that in on both sides, and you can slide that whole unit out. If you're recovering your headliner and you want that to match, that's what you got to do to get that piece out to be able to recover it. But sunroof and headliner are removed from the car. Installation's pretty much the reversal. Like I said, if you have to service anything major, that's probably the best way to do it, or replacement. So hopefully it helps. See you in the next one.